Saw, directed by James Wan and written by Lee Wannell, is an electrifying psychological horror film that took the genre by storm upon its release in 2004. Though initially faced with numerous obstacles, including limited budget, skepticism from critics, and a struggle to secure a wide cinema release, Saw has since become a cult favorite, revered by horror enthusiasts for its raw, gritty atmosphere, innovative plot structure, and memorable villain. The film's premise is deceptively simple, yet ingeniously executed. Two men, Adam and Dr. Lawrence Gordon, wake up in a dilapidated bathroom, chained to pipes, with no recollection of how they got there. They soon realize they are pawns in a sadistic game orchestrated by the notorious Jigsaw killer, a twisted mastermind who forces his victims to complete life-threatening tasks to earn their survival. What makes Saw stand out is not just its gruesome traps or stomach-churning tension, but the moral undertones woven throughout Jigsaw's philosophy. His victims are chosen for their perceived lack of appreciation for life, and the grotesque tasks they face are designed to push them to confront their past failings. What makes Saw truly unique, however, is the creative vision behind it. Produced on a shoestring budget of around $1.2 million, Saw was birthed from a short film created by Wan and Wannell in 2003 as a proof of concept. Shot primarily in a single location, a filthy, claustrophobic bathroom, the film capitalized on its limitations, turning what could have been a constraint into a strength. The confinement builds suffocating tension, allowing the film to rely on psychological horror and a steadily rising sense of dread rather than jump scares or overt gore. One of the major obstacles in Saw's journey to the big screen was its unconventional premise. The early 2000s were dominated by glossy slasher remakes like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and The Ring, or teen-friendly horror films like Final Destination. The gritty, unrelentingly dark nature of Saw made it a tough sell to studios. Wan and Wannell faced significant difficulty in securing funding, and once the film was completed, the road to a wide theatrical release was paved with skepticism. Would mainstream audiences accept a film that pushed the boundaries of moral ambiguity, body horror, and mental anguish? After premiering at the Sundance Film Festival in 2004, Saw gained traction, but even then, distributors were unsure if the film could succeed at the box office. In fact, Saw was initially intended to go straight to DVD, a fate it narrowly avoided. However, thanks to a growing buzz from its festival screenings, Lionsgate stepped in to give it a limited release, and the rest is history. The film grossed over $100 million worldwide, proving that audiences were ready for something darker and more thought-provoking than the usual horror fare. While Saw found instant commercial success, the critical response was mixed at best. Many reviewers derided the film for its brutality, labeling it as torture porn and dismissing it as exploitation rather than genuine horror. Some critics were put off by its unapologetic embrace of gore and the film's seemingly nihilistic undertones. Despite this, horror fans were quick to embrace the film's originality, and it wasn't long before Saw developed a rabid following. The intricate plot twists, the unforgettable final reveal, and the psychological depth of Jigsaw's motivations earned Saw a spot in horror history. The film's controversial nature only fueled its cult status. As audiences debated the ethics of Jigsaw's tests and dissected the film's layers of meaning, Saw became more than just a movie. It became a talking point, a cultural phenomenon. Fans praised its cerebral approach, which contrasted starkly with the typical slasher formula. The now iconic reverse bear trap, the chilling puppet Billy, and the final twist, where Jigsaw reveals himself as the dead man in the room, have all become part of the horror lexicon. Saw's success marked the beginning of a sprawling franchise that spanned multiple sequels, each one expanding on Jigsaw's philosophy and elaborate traps. Though later installments became increasingly focused on elaborate gore and complex timelines, the original Saw remains the crown jewel of the series due to its storytelling and psychological terror. The low-budget aesthetic, the morally gray villain, and the claustrophobic atmosphere all contribute to its staying power. The film's influence can also be felt across the horror genre. It paved the way for a wave of films that blended psychological horror with extreme violence, such as Hostel and The Collector. What makes Saw stand apart from its imitators is its clever script and character-driven approach, which provides emotional weight to the unfolding horror. Unlike many films accused of being torture porn, Saw offers more than just shock value. It asks the audience to ponder life, death, and the consequences of one's choices. Saw is packed with clever Easter eggs and trivia for the sharp-eyed viewer. For example, the name Jigsaw is never actually uttered in the first film. It's only in the sequels that the nickname becomes common knowledge. Another neat detail is the appearance of a photograph of a puppet in Dr. Gordon's apartment, a reference to Billy, Jigsaw's signature puppet. Interestingly, Tobin Bell, who plays the Jigsaw killer, is only seen alive for mere minutes in the original film, yet his menacing presence looms over the entire narrative. A fascinating piece of trivia is that James Wan and Lee Wannell were so dedicated to making the film that they took on several key production roles themselves. Wan, for instance, built some of the props used in the film, while Wannell not only co-wrote the script, but also starred as one of the two main characters, Adam, adding a personal touch to the entire process. The film's intense finale, where Adam and Dr. Gordon realize the gravity of their predicament, was shot in only a few days, a testament to the cast and crew's resourcefulness under tight time constraints. Saw may have had humble beginnings, but it has grown into a genre-defining piece of horror cinema that continues to captivate audiences to this day. Despite initial skepticism and harsh critical reception, its clever storytelling, psychological depth, and groundbreaking twists have solidified its place in horror history. The film's legacy endures not just in the form of the Saw franchise, but in the continued discussions and theories that it inspires among fans. In a landscape saturated with predictable scares, Saw dared to push boundaries, inviting viewers to explore the darker side of human nature and the choices that define us.